Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. To say that I am horrified is an understatement. I cannot believe what some of you have written. Now, I'm going to go through this thing, and I want you, when you see this video, to sit with this video and sit with your lesson plan and do what I tell you to do on that lesson plan. And clearer than that, I can't get unless I fly to you and sit beside you and tell you what to write. We've gone through this now. And if you weren't in class last Friday, even worse, you should have found out and watched the video and gone on to learn 2023. I'm not going through the whole lesson plan again. But I am going to tell you that the routine information, there are still some people who do not spell so-and-so high school with capital letters. Right. Specific aims, where do I find them? I find them in the CAPS document. Do I write all of them down? No, I don't. I choose which one of those will suit the lesson that I'm giving. So if I'm going to be giving a poetry lesson, I will look for a specific aim that talks about poetry and the aesthetic beauty of the language. I'm not going to talk about listening and speaking. I choose one. I've got people writing 7 out. Right. Then I go to the lesson objectives. I can't spend too much time on this. Knowledge, skills, and values. And I did say all of these must start with learners will. What will they do? Learners will know about poetry. Learners will know the poem if I go down to the sea again. Learners will know how to break up the poem and get the comprehension of the poem. Learners will know. That all comes here under knowledge. Know, here is the word. This is the word, know. What will they know? What will they know? Learners will know this, and this. Now I go to skills. Learners will be able to what? Read poetry and be able to discuss it. Learners will be able to do this with it. Learners will be able to do that with it. Those are the skills. And then I come to values. Learners will appreciate. We spoke about this. Learners will value. Learners will feel. It's with the heart. Now up to there, nobody should get anything wrong. Strategies. What are strategies? Strategies are the methods you're going to use to put all this information that you're going to teach across to the children. How are you going to do it? And under strategies, you're going to have explanation. And we spoke about this. Question and answer. Discussion. Group work. All that comes under there. I'm starting to get all kinds of resources here. Interactive chart. That's not a strategy. It's a resource. It's what you're using. This is the way I'm teaching. Now I come to resources. What resources am I going to use to help me get the stuff across? And this is where you write interactive chart. Videos. PowerPoint presentation. Globe. And if anybody writes chalk and chalkboard, I'm really going to just scrap it and give you naught. Because I've told you this. Chalk and chalkboard is in every single classroom in South Africa. So don't think you're being creative by putting chalk and chalkboard. I don't want chalk and chalkboard under resources. You've got to use other stuff to try and teach it. Introduction. I said there are about 30 introductions that are on Learn 2023, but you have to go and you have to have a look. You can't just think it's going to fall out from under the sky. You must go and find an introduction that will suit this lesson that you're going to give. And it's got to be a wow introduction. Do you know what wow means? Wow means where somebody looks at you and goes, wow, that's fantastic. All of you, when you get up in the morning, want to look wow. Well, now let your introduction look wow. Not something like, I will read them a poem. Now, this is the part that worries me. Step 1. I've had people write here resources. What the hell is that? Step 1. I'm now in the development. This is where I am teaching this whole lesson. And this part here must be a page long of information that you've got off Google, that you've got out the library, out of books, that you've got out of the textbooks. It's work. It's hard work. We said so in the beginning. And this has to be finished. All this has to be finished and marked by Thursday because you've got to start giving the lesson. We're far behind now. So step 1, if I'm doing poetry, step 1, discuss what poetry is. And I write it all down. Poetry is somebody's idea of something. And I write it down for step 1. Now I go to step 2. And in step 2, read the poem to them. And I write the poem out so that I know what it is. Step 3, explain. And now you explain it. You write it down. You explain the first 2 lines. And then you explain the next 2 lines. And then you explain the next 2 lines. And the next 2, and the next 2, and the next 2. It's long. I've had people, development, step 1, resources, step 2, discuss, step 3, strategies, step 4, finish. It's not a lesson plan. That's not what you're going to teach the children. I cannot believe this. So this is the development and this is the teaching of the knowledge. You've got to write down the knowledge down here. What I'm going to teach the children. And don't tell me you mixed up now, you don't know what to do. We've done this now 4 times. I've given the same lesson. All this information must be written down. If I'm going to teach a geography lesson about rocks, I've got to say step 1, there are many different types of rocks. Step 2, the first type is igneous rock. Igneous rock are the rocks that are found, and I've got to write it all down because I'm going to teach this to the children. Step 2, metamorphic rock. Metamorphic rock are the kind of rocks that are found. I've got to write it down. I can't just keep it in my head. And when I get to step 4 or step 5 or to step 6 or to step 7, it doesn't matter how many steps. But when I have taught everything that I want to teach, then I go to my consolidation. And the consolidation is where I finish off my lesson. I can't just stop when I've finished and saying metamorphic rocks are the rocks that you find in the Drakensberg. Finish. No. Now, I've taught all this, Now I want to test and see whether they understood that. Were they listening? So now I write here. I will use my interactive chart again and allow the children to come up and complete the interactive chart. I will give them a worksheet, which I have included. I want to see the worksheet because it's easy to say I'll give them a worksheet, but I want to see it. And please don't say I'll give them homework. I'm not interested in the homework you're going to give them. I'm interested to know here how you are going to earn 100 marks when you give your consolidation. And you can't get 100 marks when you say to me in my consolidation, I'll give them homework. That's not worth 100 marks. I will put them into groups and I will do a debate. The debate will be about this and this. Once the children have had the debate, then they will come to the front and we will have talk back by a representative from each group. This will be written down. Otherwise, I don't know what you're doing. And this is all worth 100 marks. And when you start teaching, this introduction is worth 100 marks. This development is worth 100 marks. This consolidation will be worth 100 marks. Please, people, you've got to get this right. You have got to watch this video as you are writing your lesson plan. Have this video going so that you can see what you should be doing. Not write all this rubbish that some of you are writing down for me. And go to Learn 2023. That is where all the information is. Do you remember at the beginning I did say to you, what I do here for you is really just summarizing. I can't do everything here. I don't have airtime enough. I'd be talking to you for 3 hours. But I'm summarizing it for you and telling you what is the important part. But your job is to go to Learn 2023 and to listen to it. Now, I really hope that this has explained this to you. Remember, strategies are the way you are going to teach. Resources are the things I'm going to use. What teaching aids am I going to use? Development is long because it's all the stuff that I'm going to teach them. All the stuff I've got off the internet. All the stuff I got from the books. It's all here. And it's all written out. It's hard work. It's not just, oh, I'll just sit down and quickly do that lesson plan in a half an hour. No, I can't do it in a half an hour. So I don't know how you're going to try and do it in a half an hour. And then look at the consolidation and wrap it up with some interesting stuff here. I really hope that I'm going to get some lesson plans now that at least are going in the right direction. Because what I've received now is just absolutely, it's all mixed up. And then there are some of you that haven't handed in a case study. If you're happy just to leave it and get naught for that, that's fine. But we've got to carry on now. I can't keep hassling you and saying, please hand it in, please. Because now we're starting with the lessons that you are going to give. I am going to sit with this lesson plan and you are going to give me your introduction on your video to me. And I've got to give you 100 marks for that. And then we're going on to the development and then on to the consolidation. And all this has to be done because on Monday, nobody's going to go anywhere. Nobody's come to work, nobody's going to go anywhere. Tuesday, closed. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday marks have to be in. And you've still got to write another lesson plan. So please, you've got to now start doing something. Thanks very much.